Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the bottom of my bonus mug. I don't need no booze and drugs. I just need to chug-a-lug my coffee mug. This is Check Out This Record. My name is Mark. With me is no eunuch boy. It's Frank.
Hey, Mark. Hello, listeners.
Worshippers of the mighty all know that you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, and wherever else you find fine podcasts.
That's right, Mark. New episodes drip and drop to your mug, and ears every Friday, and of course, for your listening pleasure.
That's right. For those of you fresh off the boat from Catalina, this is the podcast where Frank and I recommend albums to each other to check out, see what we did there, and give them a thorough review. We also have a wide variety of musical discussions, like our Spotlight series, where we'll dig into a band's catalog and see what comes out the other side.
Now, Mark, clean sheets mean a lot, but what also means a lot is our versus series, where we
Oh,
pit two
yeah.
albums against each other and they duke it out for total stereo domination edge.
Nice. Now be sure to check us out on Instagram and our Facebook group, where there will be pictures of my legs sooner than later. We like to drop additional content that will hopefully leave you wanting more of Frank's musical goodness and, of course, my random nonsense. If you've got a record you want us to check out, just drop us a comment wherever you find us. Frank does a great job of keeping up with it and trying not to fight with idiots. So be sure to like and subscribe and give us a rate and a review, all the hearts, all the farts, whatever it takes. So I say this, Frank,
Yes, Mark.
all?
No, all, of course. Well, Mark, I just want to let you know I got up this morning to make some coffee and everything sucks today. That's right, buddy. That's right. We're here. We're talking about the 1996 album from the legendary pop punk band Descendents. And that album is right there. Everything sucks. Look at him. Look at Milo. Look at that. Everything sucks. And just you can see Mark's t-shirt. You can see mine. Right? I don't want to grow up. Mug. Hat. It keeps going. Look at that. Official bonus mug.
Oh, what's that? You're worried about COVID?
Yeah. Oh, look what he did there. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Look at this.
Look at
This is the only band I do this for. I know that I give Kiss fans a really hard time because they deserve it.
that.
But yeah, I even own I own a Milo Goes to College flag.
Sure does.
And as I mentioned, my wife and I moved between last week's recording of Dire Straits. Be sure to check that out in the archives. And this week, so my Everything Sucks flag, it's in a box somewhere.
Right.
But I found most of my swag, so that's what's important. The rest of my record collection is in a very safe place as well. Don't worry.
Yes.
Don't worry.
We were worried.
Yeah. You don't need to.
Oh, well, man. Listen, we could do this all day. But
Mhm.
we do have an album to talk about. So,
We do.
listen, I'll be honest. In the mid 90s, when I'm engulfing myself in the world of punk music, I actually heard of All, which we'll get to first, and then went back to this album and the Descendants, especially when this album came out a couple years prior to that. It hit me right in these specs, Mark. And why don't you tell the good people out there a brief history of Descendants All, and of course, this Descendants album, or was it supposed to be for another band, Mark?
Depending on how you cut it, the Descendants and All are actually I don't know, 5 different bands, maybe more, with one giant beast of a drummer running through them. That's right. I talked about him before. I'm happy we had this opportunity. Bill fucking Stevenson. He's my hero. The dude totally rules. Now, I won't get into all of the other bands. See what I did there? That Bill was in. We're just going to talk about the Descendants and All for tonight's conversation. The Descendants, for the purposes of keeping this remotely timely, where originally they were Bill Stevenson's on drum, Mio Ackerman on vocals, Tony Lombardo on bass, and Frank Navita on guitar. That's right, not the Frank you're looking at, for those of you cool enough to watch on YouTube. A different Frank. Both of them are totally awesome.
Yes.
Then, after rather famously going to college and coming back to put out 2 more records, Carl Alvarez on bass and Stephen Egerton joined the band for the band's 4th album, all.
No all.
That's right. And then, of course, Milo departs to become a scientist yet again. The remaining members would focus their new band, All, which would go through no less than 3 singers, Dave Smiley, Scott Reynolds, and Chad Price. Be sure to check out the documentary Filmage for the full story. Look, there's a lot of other parts and pieces, lots of players. It's really cool. They do a great job breaking it down. Plus, you get to see Joey Cape just kind of lounging, drinking a cup of coffee. It's nice.
Hey.
And we'll circle back in a moment to Chad Price, that is. But I want to focus basically in 95, 96. Milo reaches back out to Bill and says he's got some songs. He wanted to talk about maybe making a record. Long story short, Everything Sucks was born as a Descendents album.
Yeah, Mark, I must say that I love the worldage of both bands. You see what I did there? However, I just want to take a very brief moment to say that the trio for this particular album of Stephen Egerton, Carl Alvarez, and Bill Stevenson are absolutely incredible. Not only are they legit attributing members to the band with regards to songwriting credits, but musically, man, they are so tight. And I feel that's a reason why other singers work. They're true musicians. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, All was guilty, and you can find clips of Bill Stevenson saying this, guilty of being not the Descendents, which is a bummer because, as Frank and I will talk your ear off to no end, All fucking rules. The Scott Reynolds stuff is good. The Dave Smalley stuff is good. He and I happen to love the Chad Price stuff.
We do.
The whole catalog is good. If you like the Descendents, if you like early Descendents, if you like late Descendents, it fits in perfectly. They were a great band. Biggest crime they did was not being the Descendents. But anyways, so here's what I want you to do. Put on your headphones, turn all those albums up as loud as they can. And listen to what these guys are doing, right? Bass lines that deliver as much melody as they do rhythm, guitar work that highlights vocals while still managing to rip super cool riffs and the occasional badass guitar solo. And Bill is one of the fastest, hardest hitting, and most creative drummers in the genre, if not the entire fucking planet. That dude rules. Now we're going to jump into Everything Sucks. I promise we touch base about Chad Price and his place in All. Now, the band has never broken up, and since 96 has put out 2 studio albums, Mass Nerder and Problematic, as well as a live album, Live Plus One, which includes Plus One is the Descendents Live, which is badass. But there were rumors that Chad was supposed to sing on Everything Sucks. And if you go to the old YouTube machine, which Frank is such a fan of, you can find all Everything Sucks with Chad singing a good chunk of these 16 songs or 15 songs. He sings a good chunk. Plus, there's a couple other songs which would eventually make it onto the other All records, and a few that never got released, but you can still find them pretty easily hanging out. It's really cool to hear the alternate takes. Chad's got a little bit more anger than Milo does naturally, and it comes across in a really cool way. That's not to say Milo doesn't do a killer job with this record. In fact, there are some times where you can hear that he's channeled Chad's performance and turned it into something really cool. So with that said, I think it's time. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. And I'm just sitting here like daydreaming of all this All in Descendants stuff. And I know we get some little glimpses of both of them, but I would love one track if you guys are listening. Well, in fact, Chad's my friend, so I should just message this to him, right?
You should.
Love a Descendants All song where you got one verse Milo, one verse Chad. Nice little minute and a half. Wrap it up. Put a bow on it. Bam. Merry
That'd
Christmas.
be cool.
Merry Christmas to me and Mark. That's all I want, actually. It's all I want. So, all right. So it's time to get into this albumage, my man. Are you ready for this?
Dude, I'm so ready. But you know what the only problem is?
What's that?
Everything sucks. Anyways,
scared me.
Track 1, title track, Everything Sucks. When I was 14 when this album came out, and I was probably 15 or 16 when I heard it for the first time. And I have to tell you, when this song opens up and you're just full of piss and vinegar, this opening just speaks to you. It's angsty. It's got a little bit of heart in it. It punches. It's fun. It's got a little bit of everything. And and you just feel so much better for getting that energy out. I totally just spit. I don't know if you saw that. I'm so excited. It brings this intensity, it brings this energy. With it being a title track, I often worry, like, is this going to accurately represent the entire album? And I think for these guys, I think for the attitude it sets, it does. Although there are some really deeply personal tracks on this record that I think some people might go, well, why would you call it Everything Sucks if you're going to get this personal with it? Take a deep breath. It's just punk rock. It doesn't have to be, an all-encompassing thing. I'm saying that mostly to myself. But I absolutely love the opening track, Everything Sucks. How about you, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, listen, written by Edgerton, and we get his classic sounding guitar strumming to kick us off, and bam, the Descendents are back, right? 68 comeback special by Elvis, right? This is the 90s version of themselves, and it sounds great. You got your coffee, you got your snotty lyrics, all wrapped up into one fantastic opener, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we go into the second track, I'm the One. Single material. I mean, there was a video for it with all the members at a sperm bank making a donation. Silly, it's cheeky, but it's the Descendants. That's who they are. Great catchy melody, and of course, the band musically and sonically incredibly tight here, man.
Absolutely. This one was written by Carl Alvarez. It totally rules. I think he's one of the most underrated bass playing songwriters in the business. Total chainsaw pop masterpiece that every dude who's ever been in that unfortunate friend zone can understand. Now there are those who will say that the song is a bit of a creep factor to it because it sounds like Milo, even though Milo didn't write it. Can't take the hint that this chick's not into him, but I think it's about a dude who maybe is being led on by somebody who just wants a little bit of attention, and he's happy to give it to her. Either way, I think the song rules. You know what? I'm trying not to take it so literally. I'm trying to just enjoy the music for what it is.
There you go.
And I think when you do that, you allow yourself this option for it to be a cool track about just being that guy who sticks it out and is there. Pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Brings us right to track 3, Frank. Coffee mug.
Where's that mug? Look at that. There you go. Salute, buddy. Salute.
That's right. Writing credits on this one go to Bill Stevenson and Stephen Egerton. But first, I want to point out that this is my Descendents tattoo.
Yes.
It's on my left leg. It's a coffee mug with a banner that reads "Mug, Mug, Mug," with a wave of coffee cresting over the top. I'll try to get a good picture of it and post it in the Facebook group. I told you I would try to put my leg on the internet. We're going to give it away. Anyways, for those of you who don't know the importance of coffee on the band, you'll think that this is just a short, silly song. For the rest of us, it's a tribute to our blessed savior of acceleration, coffee, and lots of it. The live album's amazing because Bill plays it so fast that you can hear Milo at the end.
Yes.
Tell him to slow down because he's breaking the sound barrier. It's so goddamn fast. It's just cool. This is what a lot of people loved about the band. Super short, super punchy songs that just were a blast of energy, and it's literally that. It's caffeinated goodness. I love it.
Me too. Mug, 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 and the importance of coffee to the band and well to us. And I'm glad after all this time we get their love for the cup back. Listen, it's short, fast, blistering, and that's the way you would want that energy. Just the way you would receive that energy from coffee itself. So just a cool tune. 4, Rotting Out. One of my favorites from the album. Milo wrote this, and I love the line, "So many minds, nobody ever speaks," with a reference to a broken portion of a nuclear family. Kind of reminds me of my mom's side of my family, where it's all very super nuclear, but there's a lot of things that went unspoken and swept under the rug. So now I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that. Sorry, Mom.
I didn't know your mom listens to this show, too. That means we have 2 listeners. Great. This is a great track. It's a mid-tempo kind of rock number that reminds me a lot sonically of Breaking Things and Pummel, which are 2 all albums, where the band got a little heavier, and it's great to hear them pull in that sound and influence, because after all, it is 3 guys from that band who always say, we don't write songs for this band or for that band. We write songs as they come, and here's what you get. So we get one of those tracks right here. What's great about this is that Milo really sticks these lyrics. You're sitting front row at dinner as dad throws a pot roast against the wall and the kids are screaming and mom's drunk or whatever happened. that Milo felt like his family was imploding, or whatever he imagined was happening about a family imploding. Again, if you had any issues growing up, this song feels like it came like it came out of you at some point, and the catharsis in that is so good and so relieving. I just love this track, dude. It's so cool.
Or if you have issues now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Track 5, this many, is Sick of Me, Sick O Me, excuse me. Anyways, back to being the reason all my relationships fail. It's Sick of Me. Bill Stevenson again and Stephen Egerton team up on this one. It's fast and punchy while managing to be strangely catchy. Pure modern Descendents. It fucking rules.
Yeah. Another super catchy tune. It's fun. It's a relationship song, and the coolness of this band, where they're taking something like "Sick of Me" and just altering it. "Sick o' Me." Those little touches go a long way, and that's pretty cool. Then we get Caught. Hey, Mark,
Mhm.
did
We
you hear
got caught.
did you hear about the president?
What happened?
He used to smoke pot.
What?
I love this song, and I love how fast it starts.
Mhm.
And talking about the caught aspect in life, and saying how these high-profile people will get off, and normal folks, of course, like me and Mark, pay the price. It's a great tune, and I enjoy the screaming that Milo's doing towards the end. And '96, everyone, just so everyone knows, Clinton was the president. So there's things to get caught out there.
Yeah, I was worried that I was a president, and never mind. Frank, I'll pretend not to see what you pretend not to do, Frank. I wrote that backwards. Anyways, another banger from Carl Alvarez here. I'm making up names. You summed it up quite perfectly as far as I'm concerned. The only thing anyone is guilty of is being caught, right? Watch some prison reality TV. You'll see that's the case. Pretty damn on point. And like I said, it feels awfully current, huh?
Yeah,
Feels awfully
hey,
current,
hey.
Although I'd smoke a dude with old Joey B, the new Prez.
Would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Dude, you couldn't get me to smoke a J with old Trumpy. That would be such a bummer. I roll the best joints. Look at this garbage joint you rolled me. Fuck that guy. Anyways, we're not doing politics.
Not HW, W.
Mhm.
I would
Oh
do
yeah,
one with W, because
yeah. I mean, that guy got a DUI in the '70s.
Right.
Party.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
What you had to do to get a DUI in the '70s? Come on, he must have killed like a school bus worth of children. Anyways, number 7 is When I Get Old.
Oh.
Here we have Bill Stevenson and Carl Alvarez on another chainsaw pop masterpiece. This was missed by all those suckers who listen to actual pop music. This thing's just punk rock Paul McCartney, dude. Half a love song, half dealing with getting old. It's fucking perfect, and again, feels fresh and new today as it did then. I mean, it really does just have that like, oh man, why isn't this on the radio?
Yeah. I mean, listen, another single-worthy tune. It's a little longer time-wise than the rest of their tracks, regards to the duration. It's a nice change of pace from the last 3 tunes, which were really in your face. Takes things down a bit and makes you think, what will it be like when I get old, Mark?
Yeah, and there is a fun music video for this one as well.
There is, absolutely. Actually, get Doghouse. This is a fun song. I mean, it's written by OG Descendents guitarist Frank Nevada, not me. Sorry. Has that older Descendants vibe for sure, and I love how the verses are all different rhythmically. It's a different rhythmic pattern, which is really, really cool, and it keeps building up. Super fun song, and I know me and Mark always joke with the song.
Yeah, you know what? It's Everybody Hates Me. Anyways, what's cool is they even let Tony Lombardo play bass on this one. It definitely has that Milo Goes to College feel to it. It's fast, self-deprecating, just a banger that never lets up. Sometimes in life you just need to know your place, and I feel like Frank Nevada is just not shy about letting you know who he is and what he stands for, because he's just a dog. I love it, man. It's great. You know what? Track 9, She Loves Me. Yeah. Man, this is a cool song. We're in this kind of like self-deprecating, unlovable phase of songwriting from Bill Stevenson. He painfully paints this picture of a relationship where he's not happy. And rather than telling her he's waiting for her to notice, and it's making him kind of crazy. But the way this song is structured and sung, you have no idea unless you really break it down and look at what's going on in the lyrics. Really cool. The chorus is so catchy that you will sing it even if you realize you kind of hate this guy. But at the same time, he's so empathizing. You can just relate with this dude and go, yeah, you know what? Despite being a scumbag, this woman loves me, and it's amazing. And it's a cool track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite on the album. And I'm thinking now all of a sudden it's maybe the first one I may have heard from this album too. So I always kind of equate it to that. But listen, thank you, Mr. Stevenson, for writing this. It has all the elements of a classic Descendants song: loud guitars, audible bass fills, perfect time drumming, and Milo's vocals, man, a range all over from singing to screaming. This song rules. The song absolutely rules. My favorite, definitely. Now we got a Hateful Notebook. It's actually one, believe it or not, over the years I haven't given much attention to it, to be honest. It has really a Chad Price vibe to me, so obviously I could see him singing this. Cool melodic guitar playing in the verses. I enjoyed it for being one that I really, over the years, maybe didn't spend much time with. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, this is another Carl Alvarez and Bill Stevenson joint. You remember that girl who always had that little journal or diary they'd carry around with them and make these little notes about everyone and everything. Do people still do that, or is it all just on their phone now?
On the phone now.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a really cool number. I think it's got a little bit of a dated issue with it because, like I said, nobody's carrying those notebooks around anymore. You know, I had one. I remember, like, you know, in high school, I had like a history journal. I had a
live journal,
whatever English class was called. I had a journal for that. I had and then I had a journal where I wrote shit down, and you know, it was terrible. And I did have a live journal.
I remember.
Thank you for remembering that. You know, but the song's super cool. It's you know, it's just a cool little love number about a girl who's just obsessed with writing in her book. It's cool to me. Track 11 is called We, the American We, not the French We, W-E. This is one of my favorites on the album for sure. It's written by Milo. It's pretty straightforward. A couple is going through some hard times, and he's doing his part to let his partner know it's going to work out. It's simple. It's beautiful. I'd give one of my glorious testicles to write a song like this, Frank.
It's a pop punk masterpiece. Listen, it's so catchy, and you get Chad Price on the backing vocals. They're more than welcomed. Mwah. Beautiful. Track 12 is Eunuch Boy. It's a 19-second song about someone who's castrated. Fun.
Yep. Milo shares writing credits here with Tony Lombardo on this one, and Frank Navetta, I don't know, plays guitar on this one as well. It's honestly a low light on this album for me, just because the rest of this album is so fucking good. And this is, as Frank said, a 19-second song about somebody without a dick. So shrug. This is me doing my shrug emoji. I wrote shrug emoji. Like, look, it's what people were expecting, right? Short, punchy song about something fucking crazy. Sure, there you go.
It's 19 seconds. Listen, when me and Mark,
19 seconds.
When me and Mark were in a band, we had like two, I think, 10-second songs, and I'm sure if anyone was ever listening, they were probably like, "All right, just get those out of the way and move on."
Yep.
Next.
They were mostly like, just move along.
Yeah.
Track 13 is called This Place.
This Place.
It's about this house that I'm in right now. No, I'm just kidding. You know, maybe being a scientist wasn't all it was cracked up to be, as Milo gives us this classic number about how much he hates work. And this song fucking rules.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic sounding Descendants song, absolutely. I wouldn't say it's my favorite just because I think there's a lot already that happened and transpired on this album that is really high up there. Probably I would put it towards the bottom of my list of favorites from the album, but if you're putting it in the context of the album, it's definitely not bad. So another one, I Won't Let Me, is where I didn't give much attention to it over the years. It's one of their longer tracks, and you know, it was one in the past I probably skipped more than I actually sat and listened to it. But again, it's a really good track, and I don't know the reasoning for that. Who knows what was going on during those times, or when it was in my car and whatever. But you know, it was one that I thoroughly enjoyed. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I really adore this track. It's just just another chainsaw pop masterpiece from Carl Alvarez. Literal context about this, the song aside, it's about stepping up and doing the right thing when you're when you are someone who's once failed. Maybe it's because I travel a lot for work, and I used to be a scumbag. But it just speaks to me as kind of the hopeless romantic I see myself, and that I just miss my wife all the time. So I trust that she knows that I won't let her down by doing something stupid.
There you go, man. There you
Yeah.
go.
And with that, we're up to the last track. Thank you.
No, thank me, Mark.
Yeah. If you think back to Catalina, right, off of Milo Goes to College, and how they reference the last tape, and then you come back to Thank You. This is just kind of the perfect way. If they had stopped here, Frank, the perfect way to end the record and their career. Because I'm sure when they finished this, Milo was like, cool, I'm going back to be a scientist. And they didn't expect to make another record. So this Thank You really was just this awesome thank you for not so much the fans, but for the people and bands that came before them that inspired them to do this. Just really, really great song. This one was written by Carl Alvarez as well. And I think if you're like me and Frank and you grew up just glued to your Walkman and to your CD player and just obsessing over music and going to shows and spending the time mind-numbingly listening to podcasts where two fat guys on the internet just go on and on and on about why records suck, then this song speaks to you because it's so genuine and their love for music and their, there's a line, I glued the tape into the tape deck so that I could learn every note and every chord. It was right on. Like, it's just so cool, man.
Yeah, I love it.
And there is, I'm going to touch on the theme at the end, the hidden track after you.
Yeah, so I've always clumped this song and We together in the sense that they're true, like, really pop punk masterpieces with actual length to the songs. Again, it's a tribute to those who have influenced them. Hence, thank you for playing the way you play. Fantastic finish to an album. And Mark, as you said, there's an instrumental track, Grand Theme, right, to round things up here. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, so Grand Theme here, written by Stephen Egerton on guitar, and is considered to be the end of a quote unquote theme series started by Tony Lombardo, where if you listen to Descendents albums and they peek into the All albums, you'll notice that there's just a couple instrumental tracks all based around the theme. This was supposed to be the conclusion of it. It's the only one written by Stephen Egerton. The rest of them were all written by Tony Lombardo. But it just really gives Bill and Carl and Steven this chance to rock out, just something a little extra, something different that's not anything that'll throw you off base. It just it's this fitting ending of the band playing on. It's really kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
With that said, Frank, your final thoughts?
Wow. So listen, if I had to rank Descendants albums, this would be number 2 for me, and I think we all know what number 1 is. This is their comeback album, and they came back in a super impactful way. They reintroduced a world to them, and they brought in those 90 punk fans, including those who may have heard of All first before the Descendants, just because that was the time and the All was more active. It's a quick and punchy ride. Listen, with elements of what you've liked about the band, while taking away kind of those jammy experimental Minutemen type tunes and giving us actual songs, right? I love the 4-song span of Mug, Rotting Out, Sick of Me, and Caught. It's a real highlight on the album. And of course, She Loves Me is something that I would have even put out as a single because I think it's just such a fantastic song. You're going to get maybe some of those under 2-minute tracks here that maybe they may not do anything for everyone, but however, the musicianship is there. Vocals are spot on. It's a fantastic album. 8 out of 10 for me. So I love this album. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, dude, I fucking adore this record. It spoke to me as a teenager. It's speaking to me now as an adult. It's got those super short, punchy songs we've all come to expect, but it's also got those really thoughtful and personal tracks that totally rip without being cheesy at all. This is as close to like a 10 out of 10 perfect record for me as I think a record can get. And again, these ratings for Frank and I, totally subjective. Records hit everybody in a different way. And this one just really sticks to me. I think for me personally, it ranks a little higher than Milo Goes to College.
Interesting.
But I definitely highly recommend checking out the Chad Price cut of it. Like I said, YouTube, Everything Sucks. You'll find it pretty easy. it's kind of a total banger. And Chad does a great job. You get to hear those alternate takes. It's really cool. To me, it's just a very special record. I think it's one of those records that made me know punk rock was what I liked.
So you like this? So this is your favorite Descendents record,
Oh,
basically?
definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And Milo's number 2?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
And
I really like "Cool to Be You." I think
I
that
know.
record fucking awesome.
I do too. I know we were exchanging some lists back and forth
Mhm.
of the rankings. I mean, listen, there's not a bad one in the bunch too. There are those experimental tracks we spoke
Mhm.
about. But hey, it's awesome. It's awesome. All right, Mark. Well, so top 10 time, and I think we're thinking of doing something a little different, right? So for the top
For
10,
sure.
we're talking about this legendary pop punk band. In fact, to
Mhm.
us, the best pop punk band, I would say. Um, I mean, of course, now that people are going to deconstruct that, all right? Anyway, so
Sure.
listen, we wanted to change things up a bit. So let's take a look at some of the
Mhm.
most popular punk bands ever. This is just a list that randomly got. We're going
Pop
to list
punk.
their pop punk. That is, thank you. We're going to list their names, give a quick thought or two, and see if we like them. And maybe we'll have some confessions of guilty pleasures. Mark, are you ready?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen for me. Kick it off.
All right, Mark. The first band is Sum 41.
I liked that first album when they got popular. I was in high school, and I liked the way they tried to mix it up and make it a little bit metal. But I couldn't care about anything they've put out since. And to be honest, looking back, I don't give a shit about that record either.
I love it. So yeah, like Mark, I was into Fat Lip for a minute, and they had this, "Hey, we're pop punk, but we love metal." Like I even recall a performance with Judas Priest now at like one of the award shows when award shows used to play like rock and roll music. Um, I saw them not too long ago, and it was super packed. And their fan base, I was surprised. I thought they had like a dwindling fan base. No, the fan base is like legit. Like it's a
Hmm.
legit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
However, though, like you, Mark, I can't say there's anything recent that's worth a
yeah.
dime. So, um, yeah, so that's mine. What about the next band, Mark? You want to introduce them?
Yeah, you ready? Tell us what your thoughts and feelings, your deep emotional satisfaction for the band Yellow Card, Frank.
Yeah, so we saw them open for Lagwagon
Hmm.
at a place called Ovation.
Hmm. No
Okay, okay,
longer Ovation.
right. What is it?
Yep.
What is it
It's
by the way?
it's America's Backyard. It's Revolution. It's a couple different things.
Oh, then that's the wrong place because I'm thinking up
Oh,
in wait,
oh no, that's right. We saw them in what used to be a Winn-Dixie
right.
that became Club Ovation, which is now a parking lot. They bulldozed that whole thing. That whole thing's gone. Yeah.
Bummer, bummer. Okay.
Yep.
So we saw them open for Lagwagon, and that was right before they exploded in 2003 with Ocean Avenue. I think that's the song, right? Listen, it was cool. They came out. They had like a violin player, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then to me, they were just a run of the mill band. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I saw them well before that. Probably either like late '99, early 2000, when I worked at a club called Club Q. You remember that over
I
in
do.
Davie?
I do.
A friend came to see them, her and like three other people. Because nobody showed up, is what I'm trying to say. The lady who booked the show felt so bad for them. She let them clean the bathroom for gas money so that they could get to the next show.
Wow.
Yeah, because that few people showed up. I was probably into that first record because I think I was trying to date that girl at the time. It never went anywhere, and we're still good friends. And I have no memory of anything but the violin of that band.
You remember them at the Lagwagon show, though, right? Because we were
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're totally forgettable to me. I
Yeah.
don't know what people are into.
Yeah. Next, this is a long-standing band,
Mm.
MXPX. Mark, what's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I like the hits, but I don't like their albums. I don't think they stack up that well, and I kind of hate the lack of edge they've always had. They've always had that kind of pro-Christian-y kind of softness to them, where they weren't all that punk, although they kind of acted like assholes. Plus, that dude has like podcasts, and it's super boring and hard to listen to. I'm sure people say that about ours, but whatever. Fuck that dude.
So there are two episodes of the Mike Herrera podcast where there's Stephen Egerton on one, and Milo.
Mhm.
So I mean, those could be worth checking out.
Oh, I have. They're painful to listen to because he has no concept of how to have a conversation that's interesting, and he just talks about like, "Hey, so what'd you get in the mail?" And they'll be like, "That's what you want to talk about." So that dude's an idiot.
Yeah, so for a while, like 99, they were like that band for me. And I was
Mhm.
like super when another band that we're gonna mention down the way got like super big, I was like, no, MXPX are the ones that they should be big, and how dare this other band get big? And listen, I still dig their stuff from their catalog. The hits, kind of like Mark said, they're
Mhm.
consistent. I give them mad props for still being around and having like a family vibe because they literally graduated high school and that's
Went
all
right on tour.
that's
Yeah.
all they've done ever since, and they're still together. Their past few releases, you know,
Suck.
yeah, very hit or miss. But that's just what they are, and I think if you take them for that, they're one of again the longer standing um, pop punk acts. So, Mark, introduce the
Ooh.
next one for
Well,
me.
hold on. I want to ask you a question first.
Yeah,
Would you like uh
coffee.
5 more MXPX albums, which we all know are going to sound the same, or one more Goaty Hook record?
Oh man, and so let's paint the. I saw
Yeah,
a
go for it.
show. I saw a show in '99. The Ever
Mhm.
Passing Moment was about to come out, and the Hippos was the opening for them, ska band, right? And
Love the
then this,
Hippos.
right, me too. And Goaty Hook, this band Goaty Hook from Virginia, I want to say, opened up for them. They're also on Tooth and Nail, and at the time, the band was transitioning from this, kind of fast, shiny punk sound to like a little bit of a heavier kind of rock sound. And I was like, oh my god, like they're blending just like rock and roll and punk. And this was before like a lot of people were doing that. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I totally dug them. Went and bought all their albums. Saw them then. I think like a year later at a skate park, and there was like two people there. Um, and I always dug them, and I always wish that they would have kept going. So yeah, I would actually go take a Goaty Hook album, and probably there's only two people who know about them, and that's me and you.
Well, and the dudes in the band.
And the
Anyways,
dudes in the bed, yeah.
so uh, since we're talking about pop punk, and it's amazing for two dudes who just spent all that time gushing about how all of pop punk owes everything to the Descendents.
And we,
Um,
yeah.
how much you and I have hated all of these bands so far. Anyways, next is Newfound Glory, Frank.
Man, okay, so they're hometown guys for us, right?
Sure.
Listen, I have never been into them, nor have I gotten the insane fascination that people have. And this is not just me saying, "Oh, I'm a similar age of them, and we were also in a band at the time, and theirs made it, and ours didn't." No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that their stock isn't valuable, but everyone has always made them like to be this $80 stock, for example, when they're like $20. And,
Mm.
yeah, and it's just very surface level, unflavorful bubblegum pop, weak lyrics, sometimes ear grating vocals. I don't get them. And I also used to work with the bass player's brother in the early 2000s, and he annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, I've seen them so many times before anyone gave a shit. It's not fair. To be fair, I didn't like them then, and I still don't like them now. I don't know why they're still pumping out records. They've done nothing good almost ever.
It's
Um,
incredible. It's incredible. Like, but people again are
yeah, I think they
insane.
were one of the first pop punk bands a lot of people got. They certainly started that kind of like second wave of pop punk
Right.
in the early 2000s, or at least for South Florida, they were definitely that band. And a lot of people were just into it and got on board. And they certainly brought a lot of acts down. Like when I say that I saw them because bands I wanted to see were playing with them because they were kind of the hometown heroes. And it sucked because I never thought they were that good.
Right.
But I just like a different style of punk rock.
Well, so it's interesting, right? Because now we're talking about pop punk, and we're talking about
Mhm.
the pop punk the Descendants have to offer, and then we talk about Newfound Glory's pop punk, and to me, it's totally different,
Yeah.
opposite side of the spectrum.
Mhm.
And when we saw Descendants down here too, I think the bass player from Newfound Glory was behind us also.
Mhm.
All right, Mark. Here's another one.
Oh, hit me.
Blink 182.
Man, I just don't fucking care, dude. Like as a teenager on the bus, I thought they were kind of cool, but like I outgrew them way faster than certainly they would have liked. I think I outgrew them faster than the record played. They stuck to the pop when they could have been punk, and it just didn't work. Like I get that they figured out a niche and they were able to exploit it, and they all made a bunch of fucking money, but I just don't care. And like, I don't get wanting to be dumb forever.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not sorry,
You're
Brian.
not. No, you're not. Listen, I liked Cheshire Cat. I thought Dude Ranch was fun. Enema, excuse me. Oh boy, is hit or miss for me. And everything since just doesn't connect. Now, I want to go on record, and I think both of us do. I hope it's okay to speak for you. I love Alkaline Trio and Matt Ski's writing, and I get why he joined the band. I get it. But to me, feels like a complete regression for him. He's vastly superior to both Mark and Tom as songwriters go. Yeah. So I like Mark. I just don't care.
I fully endorse that statement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
You want to tell us about Saves the Day?
Yeah. It's another band that I happen to like them. Stay What You Are and Reverie and Sound the Alarm. Those 3 albums. I like them. I love the acoustic versions of this of those records as well. If the OG members, like what I did, stayed together and didn't veer from styles, I think they would have been in Newfound Glory's spot because of the momentum that they had. However, like many, I don't feel their last few releases push their progression in the right way, and it's caused them to kind of their recent outings to be stale. Mark, Saves the Day. What about you?
Yeah, I hate to say this in that I don't want to sound like I'm trying to dish you, buddy.
Okay.
But I always remember thinking, oh, Save the Day. That's a band that girls like. And I just never got into them. It just never connected with me. And I probably gave up on them before I really gave them enough of a chance.
There you go. Fair enough. Okay, so here's another interesting one: the Ataris.
Yeah, so this is one that people always look at me like I have 2 heads on. I don't really have an opinion either way. They're good musicians, but their songs are sort of I don't know, they just don't do anything for me. Like I've never connected emotionally, even though I know that like everyone the fuck else my age did.
Yeah. So I would say out of these bands that we're talking about here, I happen to like them. I do. I think Blue Skies, End Is Forever, So Long Astoria are good records, and I think they got screwed over by the record companies and fans, a la Face to Face, Ignorance Is Bliss, with their album Welcome to the Night. Like for real, I think it's a good record. With many lineup changes and a loss of overall momentum, they've really been reduced to playing like small venues that probably our band, Mark, that we used to be in would be playing, which is mind blowing to me. So it's absolutely crazy. Here's one for you, Mark. Good Charlotte.
Ooh, Good Charlotte. Fuck that band. Next.
Yeah, oops, we swapped there. Sorry.
That's all right.
I know that we're like they are in that Goldfinger kind of messed crowd, and I like Goldfinger, I know you do, but I never got this band.
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember seeing. No, they did that. What was the cover they did? I saw a Black Flag sticker on a Cadillac.
Oh, that's actually the Ataris doing Summer of.
That's not Good Charlotte.
Doing the Don Henley song, Boys of Summer.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
In that case, I won't even give him credit for that.
Good
Props to the Ataris.
Good Charlotte's the Another Loser Anthem. That one.
Nope, nothing.
Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous. There you go.
Oh, is that like the F tattoo everybody has with the star in it? Is that what that is?
Oh, actually, I don't know what that is.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Mark, Bowling for Soup.
Yeah, so my buddy Mikey that I went to high school with loves this band. Hey, Mikey. I know you probably don't listen. I just never got it. Plus, it's easily one of the worst names of a band. Is it a joke name? Is it a reference to something? I don't have a clue. And I care even less than you might imagine as to what Bowling for Soup. Like, there is nothing about Bowling for Soup that I'm like, oh, I'm interested to see what this is about. Like, it's just so like what Bowling for Soup? Like, is this a dad band? Is this like?
Yeah.
I don't get.
I would have gotten bowling with soup, like bowling with soup cans, like because it's actual, like it's something you would do, maybe,
Sure.
maybe. I mean, listen, I've never taken them seriously. I think,
How could you?
yeah, I think they know. I think they know what they are, and they've positioned themselves nicely for like cartoon theme songs, right? Because that's what they do.
They did a Scooby Doo.
Um, Phineas and Ferb, they did.
I'm sorry, what?
Phineas and Ferb from the Disney Channel.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Which one's the princess?
It's not a princess show.
It's not a princess?
It's not a princess, no.
Frank, tell me about Fall Out Boy.
Oh, oh.
Yeah?
Mark, listen. When
I
you
think
have
you
a,
I
yeah,
thought you orgasmed.
yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
oh. Listen, Mark. When you have a bass player who must make it
Mhm.
known that he's the leader of the band,
Sure.
and the group, that tells me that you want attention and you have insecurities. I'm already out. I'm absolutely already out. I mean, how many
Mm.
times when you see this band, the bass player who doesn't sing has to make it known that he's the main member of the band. I mean, it's just absolutely obnoxious. So that right there, boom, done. On top of that, their songs do nothing for me. It's just designed for singles and radio tunes, and it's not my cup of tea. Mark, what about you?
I should probably know more about this band, but my brain refuses to let me. In fact, whenever I think about Fall Out Boy, all I can see is that bass player's stupid fucking haircut. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The where it's like really long, but he's got it like waxed down instead of just yeah. He looks like a fucking idiot. Not sorry, Fall Out Boy.
Hey man, there we go. So we rounded up 10.
Mhm.
There's of course some maybe that we were missing, but I thought it would be fun to go ahead and do this.
Sure. You like
Yeah,
when I get angry about bands, don't you?
I did this intentionally, you know that.
Fair enough.
So really, out of these 10, I think Mark, the one you legitimately liked the best, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is MXPX out of this 10.
Oh, definitely.
There you
Yeah,
go.
because I like the hits. I mean,
Yeah,
like, and they're a tight band. I just wish he had some balls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and I get it. Like, he came from a really kind of um, structured background, right? Where he was able to practice his music, but still stayed really churchy and like, I mean, like it's.
apparently they're actually not churchy anymore, believe it or not.
I don't care.
But
You know what? Because when I go to see him, all I want to hear are the hits. I don't care about the new stuff because it's not good.
right.
Right? Look, go. I'm happy that you're in Goldfinger. Go play bass in Goldfinger. Because then it's just like, hey, that's the guy from MXPX, and then I'm listening to Goldfinger. I don't have to give a fuck.
There you go. So yeah, you knocked them out right there.
Mhm.
There is an album though, I think eventually at some point we should get to, and that is 99's Ever Passing Moment. And the reason is just for the following, because if you I used to get the magazines back in the day, and
Mhm.
he apparently, or the band apparently
Tiger
during this
Beat.
time, yeah,
Mhm.
Tiger Beat, they were influenced by Costello leading up to the production of that album.
Okay.
So it's just interesting to hear. But yep. Anyway, I'm with you on that one too. And okay, Mark, for next episode, I think it's gonna be fun.
Mhm.
We're gonna take something. We're gonna take a stab at something here that we're unfamiliar with. And
Yeah.
I came across this band, Mark, Jawbox, not
Mhm.
Jawbreaker, Jawbox. Um, just a quick thing. They're a post-hardcore band from DC. They were on Discord Records, and they were produced by the same guy who produced Fugazi. So I read that their third album, For Your Own Special Sweetheart, is good. So I figured, Mark, let's do it together.
Sounds cool to me, man. I know that I've seen the name Jawbox. It's been one of those. I got like Frank and I both have these laundry lists of bands
Oh my God.
to check out, and I think they're on both of them for us. But it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I got a lot of shit going on. I'll get to what I can get to, and I think both of us just haven't made it there. So I'm happy to just finally cross this guy off our list.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be cool because it's first impressions for both of us.
Mhm.
So I'm not going into it being like, oh, I love this album, so Mark should, and vice versa. So
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a really cool time, and I can't wait to see what comes out on the other side.
yeah. Um,
Well,
cool.
this was fun, everyone, right? I hope
Yeah.
you guys had a good time. Like, subscribe, hit us up. You know where to find us, and thank you, everyone.
Good night, and bye bye. I worked on that. Did it work?